Well, this week's Xbox deals aren't as packed as some weeks are, but there's a few good gems worth mentioning. We have a couple AAA games. We have a nice, fun party local multiplayer game. One of my favorite side-scroller games is on sale this week, and we'll start off with our 90% off game. There's only one worth mentioning, so we'll start with that. Oh, and this week's figure is Multiple Man. See if you can spot all 10 of them. Shadow Warriors Part 1 and 2, they're in a nice bundled pack for 90% off this week. It's a first-person shooter mixed with Asian mythology, and at this price, I don't think you're going to beat it, so you might as well grab it if this is your type of thing. And it is a remake from the 1997 version for those who are familiar with it. Tom Clancy has actually made some really good games over the years, especially with the Rainbow Six collection. Siege is no exception to that rule. It's off at a great price this week. Normally, I do suggest the Ultimate Edition, but in this case, it's only 50% off, and I think the game itself, depending on how much you like it, you may want to consider that, but otherwise the game itself is a great price for the standard edition. Graphics, gameplay, everything is quite wonderful, so this is high on my suggestion list, just as one of the few times I'm a little hesitant on the Ultimate Edition. This week's probably going to be centered around Far Cry, because we got a few good sales. We're going to start with Far Cry 5. I'm going to suggest the Gold Edition because it comes with Far Cry 3 plus a bunch of add-ons, and at this price, it's a great deal. You can get the standard version, but since they're going to throw in all this, I really have to suggest going for the Gold version this time. Okay, continuing from that, Far Cry New Dawn continues years later after one of the endings of Far Cry 5. It adds a nice little RPG aspect to the mix. Sadly, I haven't actually tried this one yet, but it does look pretty good, and Far Cry 6 is actually the one I've probably played the most. Unlike Far Cry 5, which is set in a fictional Montana, this is set in a fictional Caribbean island. Your main antagonist would be a dictator, so the whole concept's pretty cool. The graphics are outstanding. The gameplay is fun. It keeps some of the RPG mix from the New Dawn. There is a few things that I want to mention, though, because there's 4 different sales going on, and each pack is slightly different. Whether it's the deluxe, which you get certain things, the gold to certain things, and then there's the ultimate, the Game of the Year edition, which includes them all. But the Game of the Year edition's only about 60% off. If you get any of the other 3 editions, they're 75% off. So I'd go through it if I were you, decide which one's best for you, and I'd still go with the 75% off one. The Game of the Year might go down in the future, so you may want to hold off, but for now, it's an incredible game. Loved it to death, and they're at an incredible price. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the local multiplayer party game I was referring to earlier on. I'm going to have to read this one. Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz. Well, the name itself is ridiculous, I'll give it that, but it's almost like a Sonic the Hedgehog type game. In fact, Sonic is one of the characters you get to choose. The single-player version does look like almost a 3-dimensional Sonic game, which looks fun in itself, but it's the multiplayer and all the different options you get in it. So if you have friends over, this looks like a fun game to compete against. Time-consuming with little thinking involved, which is always great when you're with friends and you just want to play some games against each other. So I think I'm going to actually pick this one up. And as usual, I like to end these with my favorite sale of the week, and it's very rarely a 2-dimensional side-scroller, but Broforce is a fun game. A lot of different things to do to it. The characters are just unbelievably long, and they're all made after movies and TV show action heroes. Like we got B.A. Baracus from A-Team, we got RoboCop, we have Terminator, we have Indiana Jones, we have Blade, we have Judge Dredd. The list goes on and on. And at this price, it's really hard to beat. I really love this game. And like I said, normally I promote really better games for the most part, but this is definitely the top of my list. So I'm going to have to go for, this is my suggestion of the week. And that's my roundup for the week. Like I said, not as many as some weeks, but I think there's some really good selections this week. Definitely worth checking it out. Few of my selections last week, like the Yakuza series, is still on sale, so you may want to look at my last video and check out some of the sales which are still going on. And just remember, keep trying to save money, build your collection, and have a better collection than everyone else for dirt cheap. Hopefully I'll see you next week.